Hi there. Thanks for pushing play on this video. My name is Michelle Lee with Deeper EFT with Michelle Lee and Athena Rising Now. And a couple weeks ago, there was a post on Facebook about um, women not collaborating, women stabbing each other in the back and competing against each other. And one woman went off on how women don't support each other, how women aren't there for each other. And then, of course, in the comments, some guy had to chime in and say, you know, men want to understand women, but women understand women and they don't like each other. So I had promised a video about why women compete and why women can be so awful to each other, because really there's a good reason for it. And I work with women, but I work with women for self-esteem and self-confidence and releasing the old programming that we receive as little girls and women as we grow up and how we define ourselves. And so I do a lot of networking with women. So I spend a lot of time with women, and I'm lucky enough to be surrounded by a lot of women who support each other, who we do collaborate and we do work to lift each other up. So for that reason, I am blessed. But even in that circle, I have heard more than one woman say how angry it makes her when other women don't support other women. And she says it with venom and she says it with anger. And truth be told, what she's really doing is finding one more reason to be angry at other women. And so, my quick and short answer in those situations is that when a woman has come to truly love and accept herself, she can then love and accept other women, but not until then. Now, why is it that women seem to very naturally be at each other's throats? Well, if we look at our history, if we go back to the biblical times, we know that women needed men to survive. I mean, that was just it. A woman was given from her father's home to her husband's home. And should she lose her husband, should her husband die for any reason in war or whatever, she was put out of that home. Women weren't allowed to own homes or own property or own animals, nothing. Women owned nothing. So a woman and her children would be left to the environment. They would be kicked out of their home, especially women. Sometimes other family members would take the children, but if there was not a sister who had a husband that would take in that woman, she would be left to her own devices, which she really had no devices. She wasn't allowed to work. She wasn't allowed to own anything. So her devices were very limited other than having a man. So she was left out where she could be murdered, she could be beaten, she could be raped. It wasn't even illegal to do that. She was just unowned property at that time. So throughout history, women have really come to depend on men for survival. We have needed men for survival. And as, yes, we've come a long way and we don't live in biblical times anymore, but we still live in a man's world. Men still make more money than women. Um, it is a known fact that when a family breaks up, when divorce ensues, that a woman's standard of living decreases by about 70% and a man's standard of living increases. So again, without that man, she is left wanting. She is often left in poverty and left to make less money to support her family. So throughout history, women have needed men to survive. And it typically, women outnumber men in society. It's about a 51% to 49% ratio. So there's fewer men to women. So that increases, there's a greater demand for a smaller. My little dog just jumped off the couch. She was joining me, but obviously I'm making too much noise. So, because the ratio is 51% to 49%, there's a greater demand than the supply. So of course, whenever there's a greater demand than there is supply, there's competition for it. So throughout history, women have had to compete for men for their survival. Now you might think, well, that has nothing to do with today. But it really does, because we have been programmed. If you understand how the subconscious mind works, and you may or may not, but it is simply programming that goes on. We learn how to survive as children. And if you believe in reincarnation, then we've had many, many lives as women that we've had to compete for our survival, that we've had to have a man. And that other woman, if she could take our man, we're gonna get her out of the competition to increase our opportunity for survival. So this runs in our psyche unconsciously. Our mind is always doing one of two things, and it's either replaying old programming, like I need a man to survive, that other women defeat my opportunity for survival and happiness. So we're either running those old tapes, our psyches are constantly running those old tapes. Oh, I must do this to survive. I must do this to be happy. Or it's acting out of new thought and inspiration to create new things. So it's a simple manner of psychology why women compete. The way our society, the way our culture has been set up, has created this competition between women. And ultimately it weakens us, right? And I just hate the idea that our culture was set up to make women compete, and then our culture holds that against us. I just hate it when I see, that statement and everybody laughs, oh, even women don't like each other. I hate that, because we are a product of our culture, and then we're being hounded and demeaned for being a product of that culture. So I ask you to stand up and be a woman who loves herself. Be a woman who loves those women who still haven't been able to fall in love with themselves, who are still acting out of that old story of competition. And love them. Don't be angry at them. We would never be angry at a blind person for not seeing. And these women are still blinded by the cultural programming. And if you can find it in yourself and you understand that you love and accept yourself, that you can love and accept other women too. So I love that I know the power of emotional freedom technique, and I would love to take this opportunity to do some collective EFT, some collective tapping for all women who ever walked the face of this planet in past lives, or our ancestors who have ever endured the pain of being burned at the stake or hung, for acknowledging her inner wisdom, whether that wisdom be intuition, or that wisdom be her gift to use the herbs for medicinal reasons, or the wisdom to help her sisters and her mothers give birth to new life. These are the women. This is why we don't know the power of the feminine, because it's all been taken away from us and it's been vilified, and we've been so frightened to really step into our power, because our foremothers have died for stepping into their power. And maybe if you believe in reincarnation and past lives, we too have died for stepping into our power. But now we're coming into a new time, and it is time to bring balance to this planet, to bring an equilibrium to the male and the female, and to bring balance between all dualities. And in doing that, we have to understand our own gifts, our own female power of intuition and collaboration and harmony. this is who we are. So let's just take a couple of minutes to do some emotional freedom techniques. So go ahead and take in a long, slow, deep breath and tune in to your own body and tune in to yourself and tune into the past, to the women who have come before us, the women who have endured greater physical and emotional pains than we have ever imagined. And let's tune in to our foremothers who fought to give us the vote, who fought to give us the ability to go to college. And let's tune in to ourselves again, who we are, who we want to be, how much courage we would like to have to fully express our authentic selves. And let's tune in to our future generations, to the little girls who are up and coming in this lifetime and future generations who are going to really embrace our power as females, as women, as the divine feminine. Really tune into all of that. And let's begin tapping. Even though I can be afraid, I am afraid to step into my own power. I am afraid to support other women. I am afraid to support myself. I am afraid to express my truth because I have suffered in the past. I have suffered far into the past for expressing my truth. I have suffered in the past and this lifetime for expressing my truth. And it scares me. I'm afraid of what others will think. And I know I judge other people. I know I have judged other women. I have made them wrong because it made me feel right. By making other women wrong, I have felt more powerful and right. Because I too am scared. I am scared to be honest. I am scared to be authentic. Because in the past, my authenticity has killed me. My authenticity has killed me. And so I am afraid. I am afraid to be authentically myself. And if I am too afraid to be authentically myself, I don't want to see any other woman being authentically herself. Because it hurts. I feel a ping of regret when I deny myself my own authenticity, yet I see other women being authentic. Because I'm too afraid to be authentic. I have been too afraid to be authentic. I have been too afraid to be authentic. But I give myself permission to release this fear. I release this fear. I release the fear of my authenticity. I release the fear of what others will think. And as I give myself permission to be authentic, I heal the women of the past. As I give myself permission to be authentic, I am healing the women of the past. And I am stepping out of my own bondage. I give myself permission to be authentic. And I am free. And as I set myself free, I set all the little girls and future women free. I can be authentic. I can be authentically myself, and I can be loved. I can be authentic, and I can be loved. I can be authentic, and I can be loved. As I choose my own authenticity, I choose self-love. I love who I am authentically. I authentically love who I am. Maybe I can be authentic. And maybe I can be loved and supported. I choose to love and support myself, which gives me the power and courage to love and support other women. I can be authentic, and I can be loved. I choose to be authentic, and I choose to be loved. I choose to be authentic, and I choose to raise up other women. I can raise up other women. I choose to rise and to rise with other women. Good. Take in a long, slow, deep breath now. Tune into your body. Just notice how good your body feels. Tune into your mind and your emotions. And tune in to all women everywhere. And let's rise. I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope you have a greater understanding for yourself and your sisters. And if you would like to work with me, if you really want to transform how you feel about yourself and really nurture a loving relationship with yourself, then contact me at AthenaRisingNow.com and we will get together and girl, we're gonna rise.